Okay, so what do you think is harder, getting started or staying committed when things get hard?
For sure, I would say both because I mean, um, getting started. I feel like sometimes people overthink it to where they deal with analysis
There you
paralysis.
go.
Yeah, yeah. People get analysis paralysis because they see all the different things that they have to do before they get started or when they get started.
Hmm.
Therefore, they get overwhelmed to where it gives them anxiety. Then it gives them paralysis to where they don't move. Therefore, they stay stuck in the situations that they're in, the current state. So that's the hard part about getting started. But the thing is, when you just take that first step and understand that you're not going to fully understand all the parts until you step into it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. The second one was staying committed. And what a lot of people don't understand is in the beginning, what I would say is you have to create a schedule for yourself that's doable in the beginning. Don't over bite off more than you can chew. I mean, I feel like that's the problem that a lot of people have, which is they overcommit and then they underdeliver.
Hmm.
I mean, so Alex Moses says, make sure you over promise and he said, make sure you over deliver and under promise.
Hmm.
So promise this much and over deliver. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because that looks good compared to it being the other way around, which is over promise and under deliver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just making sure that whatever you commit yourself to, make sure that it's doable. Don't overdo it. And then two, don't be afraid of stepping into it without fully understanding all the different components that is required, along the way.
Hmm.
So
True.
what's your take on that?
I mean, I agree with everything you said. Both of them are hard. It's just a different type of hard. But I believe before you even get started and before you are deciding what you're going to commit to, you have to understand the vision behind what you're trying to commit yourself to. So I believe having a clear vision on exactly what do you want, where do you want your vision or your business to go? What type of business do you want to run?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it to be a one man team or do you want to be a big company one day? Or, so I believe narrowing it down to exactly what your vision is for you and your business, and then taking the necessary steps to get there one by one. And anything that doesn't align with the vision, then it's a distraction and it's taking away from getting to your vision faster. So I believe, yeah, narrowing it down and making sure that you have it a clear, exact like path, I guess, of where you're trying to get, and that'll help you to get there.
I feel like people are unrealistic with how much progress needs to take place within a short period of time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's a matter of like understanding that even though it might be slow progress, but there's progress taking place.
Hmm.
And we're talking about momentum, and
Hmm.
it's the compound effect over time.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're in this book called Atomic Habits is talking about as long as you're progressing 1% every day, I mean the compound effect over time. By the end of the year, you should be 365% better off than
Yeah.
when you first started. I mean, if you're
Hmm.
just intentional about that 1%, but people think it's gonna be like night and day, an
Yeah.
overnight type of success.
Hmm.
And I would say a lot of people see people in their mountaintops, but they didn't see them in their peak valleys. I mean, their
Yeah.
valley lows. So they see where they're at now, but they don't see all the stuff that they had to accomplish throughout the years to get to where they're at. So they're a little bit, if not fully delusional, thinking that they got there overnight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So don't covet over what other people have. You have to understand their story and see their background and what was required to get to where they're at, and understand that not everybody fully understands everything completely before they step into the game. But you have to step into the game first, then learn as you go.
Hmm.
I mean, it reminds you of the scripture says God doesn't call the equipped, but He equips the called. And
Hmm.
as you step into the ring, that's when you will start to, I guess, be aware of what is what. I mean, as far as rules, as far as like, okay, I messed up right here. Now you have something to go back to the drawing board. Like, okay, what happened? What did I do? What are people doing in this space right here to progress? I mean, so maybe I can implement that information. I mean, so you figure it out as you go. There's
Yeah.
losses that's going to take place, but don't look at it as a failure to keep you bound or keep you stuck. Look at it more so as like, okay, now you have something to refer to or something to like, I guess, build off of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, back to what you said about, people are unrealistic with the goals that they set in the beginning, and they don't see small progress as something. But all those small progresses add up to big results. So it's just, I guess, staying consistent, even when you feel like just this little thing wasn't an accomplishment, and realize that everything is going to add up eventually. Just like, we started this weight loss challenge, right? And then last week, some people lost 6, some people lost 4, and some people lost 1. But like Raquel, she only lost 4, and she was just like, well, I don't feel like that was that much. But I was like, dude, think about it. If you lost like 4 pounds every week, that's 12 pounds a month. And then if you lost 12 pounds a month times actually that's 16 pounds a month. 16 times 12, that's
That's a
like
lot.
over
That is.
100 pounds a
And
year.
I think
Like,
that's a big problem I see also is people compare their success to other people's successes. You
mm-hmm,
know what I mean? And when you compare yourself to other people's progress, then I would say that will kill your joy, it will kill your momentum also. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? It's a momentum killer.
yeah,
So it's a matter of just staying in your lane and focusing on you and understand that it's you versus you. As long as you're progressing, as long as you're doing better than yesterday, then you winning.
mm-hmm, yeah. So celebrate the small wins, because all
Mm-hmm.
the small wins lead to big victories.
Mm-hmm.
Changing your mindset to think that these small wins are wins, and it's at least you didn't lose. And even if you do lose, now you know what not to do that time. Okay, now dust yourself off and try again, like Leah said.
Mm. Nice.
Right.
I'm thinking of the story of David and Goliath, right? I mean, I can't help but think of that, which when he took out the bear and the lion when they were going after the sheep when he was shepherding the flock.
Yeah.
I mean, it said that he took them out, but nobody's seen that, right? But I believe it's the something that a lot of us have to understand is you have to build that the momentum of successes. It might be little wins, but the what you just said, I would agree to is those little wins is like it gives you the confidence that you need to take out the Goliath. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So he took out the bear and the lion before he took out the big problem, which was Goliath. But I
Mm-hmm.
would submit that if he didn't take out the bear and the lion, he wouldn't be qualified to even step in the ring with Goliath. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So we dismiss all these little battles, all these little wins, but if you were to hone in and see that those wins is what's going to build your character, is what's going to build the strength that you need. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you go to the gym. I mean, you don't just go and straight to like the freaking crazy like heavy weights.
Mm-hmm.
You build the muscle. You know what I mean? So you baby step it, and then over time your muscle starts to develop,
Yeah.
and then you'll be able to take on a bigger weight. But if
Mm-hmm.
people want to go straight to the big weight because it looks good for the gram, they call it ego lifting. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So like they want all this, but and if you were to step into what these people that you look up to are into, I would say you're not ready for it. I mean, that pressure,
Mm-hmm.
you're not ready for it. You don't have the character that lines up to that. You don't have the mental capacity or the mental maturity to
Mm-hmm.
even deal with what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Because the higher you go, the more pressure is up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of understanding where you're at and just progressing and again not comparing what you got going to anybody else. And that's actually scriptural too. It says, do not covet over
Mm-hmm.
your neighbor's possessions. You know what I mean? So like not saying like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I was doing what they're doing. I wish I had their platform.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was able to lift how much they lift. I look like how they look. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just focusing on you and dealing with what you got going. And again, as long as you're doing better than yesterday, shoot, you winning.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that stems all down to how you perceive things and your mindset. I think we have to get out of, the bad habit of thinking that everything is all or nothing. We think that if they didn't hit the mark like exactly like where they wanted to be, then it's a loss. But it's not completely a loss if you gain some understanding out of that experience. You know what I
I
mean?
wanted to piggyback off what you said, which is, and I would say to add on, don't let your losses or your failures be in vain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, meaning like what you said, it's a loss if you took that L and you did nothing with the information, the data that you got from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't go back to the drawing board and see what really happened, it's because my thing, what I say to my people that I mentor is, it's one thing to step into some crap, right? But then now you know what that crap is, and for you to step into it twice is like you didn't learn nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody that's wise is they learn from their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when you take an L or you take a hard hit or whatever, figure out why that happened, right? And then make sure that you replace that with information or an action that you're going to put in place, an intent that's going to cause you to, okay, now I know it's here, so I'm going to go this way. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of like replacing that information with something that's going to be beneficial for you to progress forward.
Hmm.
But people that don't have wisdom or don't learn from their mistakes, I would say they're a fool. They're they're not wise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything's a learning lesson, like, especially in business, like everything, not everybody you see that has a successful business started like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody started from the bottom and had to work their way up, learning, some of us, but I feel like when people get into the business and into entrepreneurship, they think it's just going to be a straight shot to the top, but it's not. It's a lot of valleys. It's a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
one month you're up, 1 month you're
Okay,
down, and it's a matter of what are you going to do in those valleys when you go through there
that
and your
part right
business is
there,
down there. Are
exactly.
you going to give up and quit because you're not seeing any finances or any
Mm-hmm.
money coming in? Or are you going to continue to show up to your business? Are you going to continue to put in the work and show up when nobody, even when you're not profiting? What are you going to do in those seasons? And I feel like that's what makes or breaks a good entrepreneur.
Literally, what the difference between somebody that's successful within the entrepreneurship space and somebody that isn't, that doesn't make it, is literally one quit and the other one didn't. I
Hmm.
mean, and that's the thing. It's a matter of committing to this craft, to this space, and not making it an option to quit. I mean,
Hmm.
like, because I the other day I bumped into somebody that was a tattooer for 15 years, and I asked him what's he doing now. He's a chef, right? He
Hmm.
quit because he got slow, and he said it just wasn't working out. My thing is, for me, I've been in this space for 13 years, 14 years. I cannot. I feel like backpedaling is not an option for me. When you go back to a regular job, no, I'm not throwing rocks at anybody that works a regular 9 to 5. You know what I mean? But it's more so like I've been in this space for a long period of time to where I cannot go backwards and work for somebody again. I mean,
Hmm.
it's understanding that I would say a lot of people don't understand. Like, if you were to allow the pressure to help you conjure up some ideas that's going to get you out of the rut that you're in, you'd be surprised on what your mind will come up with. I mean, because I believe
Hmm.
we're all creative, and if you're in the space of tattooing and you have art within you, there's so many different avenues you can go through. But when you submit to oh, the economy is bad, or
Hmm.
the government, or freaking, like where I'm at right now sucks. Geographical whatever,
Hmm.
it's where I'm at. I'm like in a bad area, but there's so many tattoos. It's saturated. All these excuses, and people use it and think that it's a reason. I would submit like that. Then why is this person over here all booked out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Hmm.
there's so many people like, oh, the economy's bad, but this person right here is booked out every freaking
Yeah.
day, or they're booked out for months, if not a
Hmm.
year. So it's a matter of like taking accountability of like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. What are they doing that I'm not doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then replacing your limiting thoughts with information that you're not implementing. But
Hmm.
uh, Myron Golden says it like this: where you are right now and where you want to be is no different from what you know right now and what you don't know and haven't implemented just yet. Because
Hmm.
if you go and sit in these circles with people that are super successful, or you read books on people that bear fruit that you want, and you have this like aha moment by information they have, and you just implement it, it'll unlock something for you. You know what I mean? So again, it's the Bible talks about do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewings of your mind. It's us replacing negative thoughts or thoughts that's not serving us, and replacing with information that is going to serve us,
Hmm.
right? So it's a trade off, and not submitting to our limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But people again, they stay stuck there, and that's why they backpedal and go to a job that they're going to be miserable at. They don't really love that.
Hmm.
They actually want to do this, but they, I would say, they submitted to their limiting thoughts.
Yeah. And that's important too, is the way that the thoughts that you have become a reality, because it starts from a thought, then it gets planted to your heart and it comes out your mouth. Then you start to live out the things that you thought, because this is the way that you think and you're creating your reality by one simple thought. And I hear it and I see it a lot on social media. I see it in everyday life of people saying like, "Oh, the economy is so bad right now." Like, "Oh, because we can't do this because the government, blah blah blah, whatever." There's always gonna be something going on in the world, but trust me, please, like God could still bless you in a recession. God could still bless you in whatever is going on around the world, and that's why I don't claim to have, like, of course, to a certain extent, what goes around will
Effect.
affect, of course, the reality, but I don't claim or I don't speak that over my life, because I believe that God's hand protects not just me but also my business. Money doesn't just poof and vanish in thin air. It has to go to somebody, and it's going to the people who continued to work and to build businesses and who had a different mindset of not just thinking like, oh, the economy's bad, so let me just throw in the towel and give up, and
Yeah.
hopefully help comes. But it's just like, what are you gonna do at those moments? Like, you have to make the decision that there is no other option. Like, I have to figure out what I'm gonna do and then implement that plan and stay committed to the plan,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the storm looks like, no matter what. Right now, if you're booking out clients or if you don't have clients, are you still posting content though? Like,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
still showing up to your business,
Apart.
or are you just like, you low key doing this already?
Yeah, what's called on my live on TikTok yesterday because I'm still brand new to the platform on TikTok, but um, I was talking about being consistent, and I was talking to the people that are viewing because I had tattooers on there and entrepreneurs. I said, I it's crazy to me that when people talk about how to build clientele, or they're not booked out, but then I go into their page and they're barely posting.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells me that you ain't really serious about it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you haven't given it your all. Don't
Mm-hmm.
tell me you're trying, but then the last time you posted was like a week ago. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And your story, there's nothing to be seen on your story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want what you want, but you're not doing the things that's required for you to get to the things that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's an intent to take place that needs to be put in place, and then what you said, your mindset is really key because your mind will lead your body and your emotions. You know what I mean? So if you ponder on something, the Bible says, "What a man thinketh in his heart, so is he."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Therefore, and it says, "Out of the heart, the out of the heart, the mouth speaks."
Mm-hmm.
The abundance, the out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Therefore, it's important what you focus on, because what you focus on, whether it be negative or positive, is going to create your verbiage. And
Mm-hmm.
the word talks about the power of the tongue, but to
Mm-hmm.
speak life and death, and those who speak life and death, they shall eat the fruits thereof. So it's a matter of being super intentional on what you focus on and super intentional on what you're speaking, because it says speak things that are not as though they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's speaking life over your situations, and it says faith cometh by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Right? So I would say you got to be super intentional on what you're speaking, because what you're speaking, it'll help, it'll either build up your faith, or it will build up your doubts.
Mm-hmm.
So I choose not to say, oh, it's a slow season. I choose not to say like, oh, the economy's bad. I'm super intentional with that. You know what I mean? Or come up with hypotheticals on like, what if this, what if that? Like, I choose to have an abundance way of thinking, because I know what the truth says. I know what the Bible says, and that's the truth that I stand on. And God told me a while ago, which is, don't let what you see in the natural make you forget what I told you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's standing on his word and having faith, because I believe faith that isn't tested cannot be trusted. Right. So I believe that everything we go through it's a trial. It's a testing of our faith. Are we going to stay committed to the vision that God put us in place for? You know what I mean? And we talked about this prior to recording, which is there's a process that's taking place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's what you do in the dark. What you said, it's what you do in those slow seasons, in those slow moments when doubt tries to creep in, when fear tries to creep in. Are you going to quit, or are you going to stay committed to what God put on your plate? Because I truly believe that all my needs shall be met according to his riches and his glory. I truly believe his word when it says that good things come to those good. It says that all things work out good for those who love him, right? And seek first his kingdom, his righteousness, and all things shall be added onto you. So like, my question is, what are you standing on? You know what I mean, what scriptures are you running with? Because if you don't have that, then it would make sense on why you're feeling the way you're feeling, as far as like backpedaling and quit.
The main thing, like you said, was like, the power of the tongue, and that's a big thing too, because I don't know, I can't. That's why I don't claim, or I don't, even when people speak that over me and my industry, when they be like, yeah, the lash industry isn't what it used to be. It's not this, that, it's not whatever. I was like, yeah, see, I don't claim that over my business. Like, because I only speak abundance over my business. I would only speak prosperity and success, just because call those things that aren't, what is it? Call those things that aren't as though they are. And so that's why, whether I have clients or whether or not, like, I'm gonna have a successful business at the end of the day, because I'm not a quitter. I don't believe in quitting. I don't believe in throwing in the towel when things get hard. And whether it's slow, whether I have clients or not, I'm gonna show up regardless. And what it comes down to too is like, even when things are slow, I know exactly why I'm slow. It falls on me because I haven't been doing what I need to do. And so I understand that with every action, with every decision you make, there's a
Consequence.
consequence that comes with that. So me not posting consistently as I should, posting on my stories or like engaging with my content, that's why I didn't book as much when it happened. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, but you see the fruits of that, and when I am consistent, I'm booked out like all month. So it's just like you have to reevaluate you and see what you're
Yeah.
doing. And if what you're doing isn't working, then now you got to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize what
or
isn't
or
working.
having understanding of the work is going to work on you before it works for you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, for example, I mentioned that I'm brand new to the TikTok space.
Hmm.
Or imagine if I go on TikTok, I've only been on there for 2 weeks. Imagine if I'm like discouraged and I'm like, bro, it's not working. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Nobody's booking. I
Hmm.
mean, but I understand how it works. You have to
Hmm.
plant those seeds. Now,
Yeah.
imagine if a farmer goes and plants seed into the ground, he waters it for 1 to 2 weeks. He's like, bro, what the hell? There's no
It's
plant, there's no
trash.
harvest. You know what I mean? It's not working. The seed is trash. It's a freaking, what do they call it?
Dead
It's
zone.
bunk or
Oh, I
whatever
was
the
gonna say
hell.
dead zone.
Yeah. So it's like it's you're being delusional. You have to plant your seeds.
Hmm.
You have to cultivate it,
Hmm.
and eventually you'll produce a harvest.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a night and day type of thing, but you got to be super intentional on the seeds you're planting. Super intentional on watering it daily, and not being discouraged when you don't see an instant
Hmm.
harvest from it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
But I think that's the part that people don't want to do. They hate the waiting game. They hate
mhm.
the, the, I guess, the preparation season, where this is the season where you should be reading up on what things you're supposed to do. You should be educating yourself in those slow seasons on what other successful business people did. But that's the part that a lot of people skip over. They just think that, oh, I took one class and this person said do this and there's only one answer or one path. But no, there's plenty of other ways to get money. There's plenty of other ways that you can be successful, especially nowadays. There's so many avenues that you could go down to, but at the same time, whatever avenue you choose, it's still going to require the same structure of you have to be consistently showing up. You have to put in the work
Mhm.
in anything that you do. And even if you aren't consistently doing that and you're consistently going on your phone, well, that bears fruits too. And that's going to bear fruit in zero account or zero money in your account. Like,
Mhm.
so it's just like whatever you're spending your time in and whatever you're putting your intentions towards, that's what's gonna bear fruit in your life.
Trashman the Cashman talks about the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, the difference between people that are wealthy and then the broke. He said the wealthy people, they hyper focus on intentions, and then broke people, they hyper focus on distractions. I mean, so it's a matter of getting rid of all the different distractions. Right? If you find yourself broke and you're playing video games, or you find yourself broke and you're over here binge watching Netflix, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what are you doing with your time? And what are you doing in those dark moments, in the valley lows? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's what's going to help you. That's either going to help you and to get you up out of there, or it's going to keep you there, because the Bible in Psalms 23 talks about, yea, do I walk through the valley of shadow of death. It didn't say like it parked there. I mean, it said it
Mm-hmm.
camped out. It's a matter of walking through that thing and then learning to go through things. I would rather go through my valley lows with God than without Him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I don't think I know that my walk with Christ and my faith is what grounds me in this space. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because if I didn't have Him, then there would be no hope for me. I feel like there would be no like I wouldn't be able to see the green grass on the other side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And with that type of perspective, knowing that what the Bible says, it gives me this sense of anticipation. And what I told you
Yeah.
prior to this recording is, I go through my trials lighthearted, because I know I can trust in the one who is faithful. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I don't trip off of too much. You know, I feel like I don't. I would be lying if I said I don't trip at all. But
Yeah.
um, I feel like I don't deal with a lot of anxiety and worry because of my faith in Christ. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely relate to that because trust me, I've in the 5 years, actually 5.5 years that I've been in business, man, I've gone through hella valleys. I've gone through so many valleys of, months where I didn't have as many clients or times where my page had barely any traffic, but I never saw it as an option to throw in the towel just because I know that God gave me this business and God gave me the vision for the business. And it's my job to cultivate, to make that thing, to make the business that God blessed me with successful by
Mm-hmm.
just trusting that God gave me that vision for a reason. And if He gave me the vision, then He's gonna supply me with what I need, because it said, I stand on that verse of, my God supplies all my needs according to his riches and not ours, not this worldly
Yeah.
riches. So it's just like whether or not like the economy's doing good, whether or not the economy's doing bad, I believe God's still gonna bless you in whatever economy it is. Like, and I see that all the time. Like God doing that with me and my business. Like God continues to bless even when the economy's bad. I do stand on that verse, and that's why I think I not I think that's why I don't stress, and I never like run around like with a chicken with no head of like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I'm stressed, I'm freaking out, because it's just like I have that peace that comes with, understanding who God is and understanding that ultimately God controls everything. God is the ruler of all. So it's just like I don't trip off what's going on around me. I let the rest of the world freak out. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I'm cool, I'm chill, because I don't fear anything.
God is. I feel like He's entrusted you with everything He's given you, and it says He'll never give you more than what you can handle. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
know that I'm built for everything I'm going through right now. All the weight that's on my shoulders right now. I know that God entrusted me with that. Therefore, I move accordingly, and I'm not gonna shrink back. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep on pushing forth.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like my thing is, I have little eyes looking after me. You know what I mean? Got the kids. I got Dominique,
Hmm.
the wifey at the house. So if I were to quit, what's that gonna look like for them?
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like if you look at things in a sense to where you are intentional on understanding that what you do today is going to dictate your future and your tomorrows, and everything we do now is going to affect somebody. I mean, there's people watching you right now. I mean,
Hmm.
if you were to quit, how many people are going to be affected by you quitting? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And I believe that we're walking in our calling. We're walking in and we're doing an act of obedience by stepping into the space that we're stepping into and continually progressing and pushing forth. How many people are affected by that? You know what I mean? And how
Hmm.
many people are affected by our act of obedience? And that's what a lot of people don't think about. How many people are affected by your act of disobedience? Also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you believe that God called you to this space and you shrink back, I would say now you're not in alignment with what God told you, because I believe that God don't make mistakes.
Hmm.
And if He told you and you believe that He told you to be in this space, then why wouldn't He provide for you? You know what I mean,
Hmm.
why wouldn't He, unless you got something that you need to check? You know what I mean,
Hmm.
like, because I know that God don't bless a mess, but it's a matter of staying in alignment with Him and staying read up and fed up and keeping that dialogue between you and the Father, and understanding that it don't matter what we go through, He's gonna carry us through it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's a matter of I'm always I'm always praying, God, what is it that you're trying to show me? I
Hmm.
mean, what is it that you're trying to teach me right now? I mean, I pray for divine connections, divine wisdom, and understanding over the assignment that you have placed over me to serve the people I'm meant to serve, and then also to please you. Because I believe when you walk in your calling and your destiny and your identity, it's pleasing to the Father. You know what I mean? And another prayer that I pray is, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight. You know what I mean? And it's understanding it's this is it's a lifestyle. There's nothing impossible. I mean, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. When we got on our side. A lot of people that are in the entrepreneurship space don't understand that. Like for example, tattooers, you're not in the tattoo business for lash tech. You're not in the lash business. I mean, you're in a marketing business. I
Hmm.
mean, the person who markets the best is the one that's going to be booked out, the one that's going to be well known. You know what I mean? And the people that you could be good at what you do, but if you don't know how to effectively market yourself,
Hmm.
you're gonna hit those dry seasons, right? Where nobody's gonna know who you are, therefore they're not gonna book with you,
Hmm.
right? And so it's a matter of like going and learning how to effectively brand yourself and market yourself. Because um, something I learned is people don't pay for what they can afford; they pay for what they can consider to be more valuable than the money that's within their pockets. Therefore, we have a responsibility to create content that's going to build up the preconceived value in people's minds, so that they will conjure up the money. If they really want your services and they really want tattoos, they're going to go and figure out how to get the money so they can pay for it. They might not have the money right now; they might be even broke. But if they really want what they want, they're going to go after it. I mean, they're going to figure it out
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, because there's, like I said, I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs, and the biggest thing that I see going on with a lot of entrepreneurs is they don't know how to market themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that don't get me is if you know that that's what you're missing, and you know that that's what you don't know how to do, Why would you not educate yourself? Why would you not go learn the one thing that you know that you lack in? There's so many free videos online. There's so many things, books on it. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
these courses and all these things, but people just expect the answers to one day just pop up in their mind, and then one day they're just gonna have the answers of what they know that they're gonna do. I been there to where I didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know how to create videos, but I literally everything that I know now about marketing, I've taught myself this year. Up before this year even started, I had never even edited a video on CapCut, and now like people see me as like I'm like a video expert. I literally just learned how to do this a few months ago.
Yeah, you know, I heard somebody say like this: you might not know how to do that right now, like right. It's because people are like, I'm not tech savvy, and I'm not tech savvy either, right? But that might you might get a pass today, but after 30 days and you're still saying that same excuse, now that's a personal issue. You know what I mean, that's a problem, right? And something that I learned is to create content, right? If somebody's dealing with like, because I asked this question, like, what's keeping you from being consistent? Is it you lack motivation? You're lacking ideas. You don't know what to post, and a lot of people tapped on. They don't know what to post, and something that you have to understand is you are the content, right? Everything you do can be content. Whether you're doing something at the house, that's personal. Whether you're doing right, you're working out, that's content right there. Or you're setting up your station, or you're talking to your clients. There's so many different things that you're doing. I feel like you don't understand, like a lot of people don't have that understanding that you can record everything and the behind the scenes type of stuff. That's content. I mean, it's like people want to connect with you on a personal level, and if you show them, let them in and not be so closed off, like be a little vulnerable. And I think that's what's scary to people.
Yeah.
They don't want to let people in on their personal stuff. It's like, then don't complain. I mean, you're broke, but you're like
you're not willing
to do the things that's required for
Yeah.
you to get what you really want. It's you're incongruent. I want this, but I'm not willing to do this to get this. It's like
Well,
it
that's
don't
where
make
you're gonna
sense.
stay stuck having what you have.
Then don't complain, because people that are super successful within the space are doing those very things, right? But again, as far as like creating content, what I learned is preconceived voids is present perceived virtues. Do you get that?
What?
What does that even mean?
Chad, break it down third grade level.
She said, "What?" So preconceived voids is present perceived virtues. And the example I'm gonna use is back in the day, I never had money, right? And whenever I go to the mall, I'd be window shopping because, I mean, it's still, but I mean, I'd be window shopping because, and I always wanted to be able to shop at the mall. So today, I love the mall. Dominique don't like the mall because she lived in the mall, right? But I love shopping in the mall because back in the day I couldn't. So it was a preconceived void.
Okay.
And I virtue that now because I didn't have that then, right?
Yeah, that
Does
makes sense. Okay.
So when you're creating content, you have to get in the mind of the people that you want to serve. If you're in the space of coaching and mentoring, you have to get into the mind of the people that, okay, this is where I was 5 years ago, right? So what was I missing? What did I consider to be virtuous within that moment, right? And then when you create content, make sure you're meeting up with that.
That makes
Make
sense.
sense?
Yeah. So basically, whatever you were struggling with in the beginning and where you're at now, create content for that person that you were then, so that that person that is now can see the content now.
They can see the value in that, and they would want to buy into that.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand some of those words.
It's coming down to the level, because when you're talking up here and they're not there yet, you're past them, so you're going to lose them. And if you talk way too low, where they're right here, they already went through all of this, you're going to bore them. You know what I mean? So you have to know where their pickup location is. Therefore, you can create content and value for this space right here to bring them up to where you're at.
See, y'all, I learn something every day. But yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. How were you able to build momentum, like in the beginning?
Well, I mean, I could talk about building momentum within the gym, and then how it kind of it messed me up to where what it does when you're not consistent. right? So you have these successes and you're building this momentum, and then you just stop. It kills your confidence. Kills your confidence. I remember I was doing a 100-day challenge, and then I fell off at 68 days.
Yeah.
Right. And then the people that joined with me, there was like 2 or 3 that it started off at 7 or 8, and then it boiled down to only 4 of us were committed to getting to the finish line, and then it ended up only being 2 people finishing. Right. But I didn't want to open up the chat because, you open up the chat, you can see that, okay, Caleb's seeing my message. Because one of the rules was you have to do like what we're doing with the 75-day challenge. You have to post that you went to the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Like check in. And so I was seeing all these messages, and I was like, I'm not going to open it. Because I stopped I dropped off at 68 because all this stuff started happening with the kids and stuff at the house, and the business got busy. I mean, these excuses. But what I'm trying to say is, when you kill that momentum, like you feel that
pressure.
No, when you have the momentum going, I feel like it's easy when you have that. It's like when you first start pushing a ball, like a boulder, right? I would say it's hard to get it going, and then, or like a car, when you push it, it's hard to get it going. But once the wheels start spinning, it gets easier as you push it. But as soon as you stop the car again, now you're back at square one. You got to get that, you feeling all that pressure again. So the same thing when you're doing anything, the beginning is always going to be tough, but as you continually progress forward, it gets easier over time. But as soon as you stop, what it did to me, it killed my confidence, bro. I was kind of like, I didn't want to post nothing with accountability on my on my page, and it can mess people up. But I mean, now we're doing it again.
I mean, that I feel like that same momentum goes for with people with content. Sometimes they'll be consistently posting every day, and then it go down to 3 days, and then once a week, and then they just stop posting altogether. And then now I feel like a lot of people struggle with, how do I come back from this? How do I come back from not posting? And honestly, all you have to do is literally just post. Like, because I remember before I started consistently posting again, I hadn't posted like in months, like, and it was just because I was neglecting my business at that time. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that this episode, but I was neglecting my page like 1 year, and I hadn't posted in so long. And it was all these thoughts in my head of like, dang, like, how do I even come back and put, like, do I do like a post talking about like what happened, or do I just do this? Do I do just that? Literally, all you have to do is just, first of all, get out your head, because I promise, nobody's even thinking the thoughts that you're telling yourself, that people are going to think that I disappeared, that I failed, that I did this. And it's just like, those are all your own thoughts.
Add on to that. I think caring about what other people think, that stops a lot of people. Right. For example, I've been posting content with me just posting my opinions on certain topics, and I'm getting some pushback. But something I learned from Russell Brunson, he said, if you haven't offended anybody by the end of the day, you haven't marketed it that hard, that tough. I mean, because understanding that your opinion, there's going to be opposing opinions about what you got to say. But you can't be afraid of these ones right here. I mean, there's a lot of people that's going to agree with what you have to say. And I would say that sometimes people don't know how to efficiently or effectively articulate their opinions. So when you voice out your opinions, it kind of helps other people, like, okay, yeah, I agree with that. You know what I mean? But then the ones that don't agree, it sounds like they're so loud and so vocal. You know what I mean? But I would say there's more of us than there is of them. And understand that you can't allow these ones here stop you from putting out your content, putting out your messaging. You know what I mean? Because we are not for everybody, right? You can attract people that I can attract, and I can attract people that you can attract. You know what I mean? And understanding that there's only a certain few that there's only a certain type of people that I'm trying to attract, and the ones that are not, like, you ain't for me anyways. I mean, I wouldn't have a good time. You wouldn't have a good time sitting in my chair because you're not my people's, I'm not yours.
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel like it's a limiting thought to think that you're going to be able to have a message, and you're going to be able to have a service that's going to be able to please everybody. You know what I mean? Or serve everybody.
That's in the Bible too. In the Bible, it literally says, if every man likes you, well, then now you should assess yourself. I believe it's in James, because even Jesus wasn't liked by everybody. Like, Jesus dealt with all the, opinions of other people, and like people not agreeing with what he said. But that's where you have to make the decision, that whether people agree with me or not, am I going to compromise on what I believe in, or what I want my business to represent, and what I want to stand for? Because the majority is going to say that they don't agree with me? Or am I going to stand firm in my decision on, this is who I am, this is what I represent, and this is my brand? And whether you agree with it or not, oh, well, you don't gotta book with me. That's
That
swipe
part.
bye. So it's just, yeah, I guess just standing firm and not being afraid to post your content, post your opinion, because all the you look at online, there's a bunch of idiots talking, and I mean, if they can do it, you can do it too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
don't be a chameleon. You know what I mean? Switch
Mhm.
up, changing colors to try to fit people's I guess their expectations on what you should be or what you should sound like or what kind of content you should be posting. You know what I mean? So it's like knowing who you are and who you are not and posting accordingly.
yeah. But to recap on everything that we talked about, basically, whether you're just getting started or trying to build momentum, every single decision that you make is going to be hard. But it's a matter of how you handle when you're on top versus when you're going through the valley. And are you going to give up when things get hard? Or are you going to press on and be consistent until you get to the finish line? If there is one. But yeah.
I mean, I want to add on to that too. Is like people see the expense of the action that they have to take, right? Like all the stuff that's required, but what they don't take into account is the expense or the consequences of your inaction. I mean, so it might require a lot of work, but it's also going to require a lot of regret and a lot of, you know, gets plateauing and just staying the same. And I would say you would be miserable because you're going to be like, man, I wish I should have or I could have. You know what I mean? And this and that could have happened if I would have just took action on what I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that into account, action and inaction.